Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Third Inning podcast. I'm your host, Izzy Rain, and I know we didn't have an episode last week because of Easter, so I just want y'all to have a nice Easter, not have to worry about listening to a podcast. But one or two before I start. I had some kind of reaction. I don't know if it's allergic or whatever. My lips are swollen, so if my voice does sound kind of off, that's why. And in all my videos this week, I'm gonna have to be explaining my lips are messed up, so they sound funny, that's why. So I do have kind of a lisp thing going on right now because it's my top lip. Only my top lip is swollen and not my bottom lip, so it's really weird and feels weird, but I'm not in any pain, so that's good. But like every week we start with going through these scores. So first we're going to start with MLB. We'll try minor league, but we'll get to minor league in a minute. So starting off in the bottom of the sixth, the Pirates and the Dodgers are tied 5-5. In the top of the sixth in San Francisco, the Yankees are beating the Giants 8-0. The MLB TV free game of the day, if it's still going on when this is uploaded, is the Cubs and Diamondbacks in the top of the sixth 3-1. In the bottom of the fifth, we have the Rangers beating the Mariners 9-1. Later today, we had the Indians playing the Astros at Minute Maid Park at 7:05 East Coast time. And the Rays beat the Red Sox 5-2. The Marlins lost to the Phillies 5-1. The Athletics lost to the Blue Jays in 11 innings, 4-5. The Brewers lost to the Mets, and I saw Christian Yelich was taken out, so prayers to him. Hopefully he's feeling better, but 5-2. And then the Braves beat the Rockies 8-7. And then the Nationals won in 11 against the Padres 7-6. And then the Orioles lost to the Twins 4-1. Same score with Tigers, White Sox, with the White Sox winning. And then the Angels beat the Royals 7-3. The Reds lost to the Cardinals 2-5. And those are all your scores for today. We're going to look at the Carolina League now because we did South Atlantic last week. I'm not expecting us to have any of the scores because first pitch does not work for some reason. The last scores it has is September 15th of last year. So I don't know why it does that. But that's standings. We're going to look at the standings. So I know we looked at the South Atlantic. So that's Class A. So we're going to go to Class A Advanced. So we're going to start with the California League. And the Cal North Visalia, I don't know, is 18-5. Modesto 11-12. San Jose 8-15. Stockton 8-15. Now on Cal South is Rancho Cucamonga. I don't know, but they're in the Dodgers. Is 14-9. The Inland Empire is 11-12. Lake is Lenore 11-12, and Lancaster 11-12. Now the Carolina League teams I'm familiar with is and this is all in the first half. Because the second half hasn't happened yet, obviously. So we have Wilmington, who's 14-10. Lynchburg 13-11. Salem 11-12. Frederick 9-14, and Potomac 9-15. Now in the Southern League, which is where I am, we have Down East. The Down East Wood Ducks is 16-8. Carolina 14-10. Fayetteville 13-11. And an ad just came up. Get off. Okay. Winston-Salem is 13-11. And Myrtle Beach 7-17. My hometown team. They need to be doing better than that. I've met basically their whole team. But okay, now time for the Florida State League. Sorry, I cracked my knuckles on here. I didn't mean to do that. We have Dundon. That's the one I'm not sure how to say, but is 15-8 there with the Blue Jays, I'm pretty sure. Daytona 12-11. I want to go to a game in Daytona just because it is the closest one to me in the Florida State League. I think it'd be cool to go to a game down there. And Clearwater 10-14. Tampa 10-14. Lakeland 9-13. Florida 8-16. Now in the FSL South, we have Palm Beach at 16-8, Bradenton 15-8, Fort Myers 15-9, St. Lucie 13-11, Charlotte 11-13, and Jupiter 7-16. So now we're going to move in. Well, before we do that, we're going to do my question of the week. So if you're not familiar, I think socks, we're talking about baseball socks. some players wear them over their pants and some wear them like under their pants. So do you prefer, if a player, which way do you prefer them to wear it? Which way do you, if you play baseball, which way do you prefer to wear them? And just what do you prefer? I think it really depends on the player. And just some look better with it under the pants, some look better with over. And I think sometimes it is required. I don't remember if it's minor league or if it's some winter league. If you somewhere it's required that you have to wear pants like that. I don't remember what team, and why did my email just come up? But yeah, somewhere it's required that they have to wear them like that. But yeah, for me personally, I don't really mind. I don't really pay attention most of the time. But just a question for you guys. But we're going to be moving into our main topic this week, and that is expanding MLB, going to MLB, adding more teams in different cities and whatnot. So for this, I'm going to be going through Street and Smith's magazine, Baseball, America's Baseball Bible. My version has Acuna on the... My voice is so messed up on the cover because it is regional and the Braves are my hometown team. So, but they have different versions there's 15 different regions. So I'm kind of curious because there are some that, like, they had the Dodgers and Angels on the same cover. And, like, just some of these, like, they have DC, Philly, and all that, and those are a very close proximity to each other, the fans, I would say, are. So I'm just curious where the cutoff lines are, but I'm not sure. So the article I'm using is in here, and of where to next, and I'm not sure if you can still buy this. Yeah, it's displayed till May 1st, so you can still buy this in the next few days if you want to purchase this magazine. So this article is by G. Scott Thomas, the Buffalo Business First. So this is their possible future MLB league and divisions. The American League East would be Baltimore, Boston, New York Yankees, and Tampa Bay. The Central would be Chicago White Sox, Cleveland, Detroit, and Toronto. The Midwest would be so this would have a Midwest League and a Central League, from what I'm taking from this. And that would be Houston, Kansas City, Minnesota, and Texas. And the West would be the LA Angels, Oakland, Portland, and Seattle. So Portland being the add-on in the American League. Now, in the National League, the East, we have adding on Montreal, the New York Mets, Philadelphia, Washington, and then the Central League would be Atlanta, Cincinnati, Miami, Pittsburgh. The Midwest would be the Chicago Cubs, Colorado, Milwaukee, and St. Louis, and then the West would be Arizona, the LA Dodgers, San Diego, and San Francisco. Now, these teams, I'm gonna say my opinion at the end, but I don't know how I feel about having a Central and a Midwest League. I think that's kind of weird, but I'm not sure. Because when I was even thinking of what cities that I think should have a team, I wasn't even thinking of the leagues, how, and the divisions, how you would have to change all that. So, yeah, I didn't even think about that. So, I really don't know my thoughts on that. So going to our next page, we have all these potential cities that have a chance. We have 20 cities, and I will read them off to you. And this has their the grade point averages from the Street Smith's Baseball Yearbook survey of 180 journalists. Distribution of grades is shown from A to F. Percentages may not. Okay, so you get it. So we have Montreal with 3.42. And Montreal had a team in the past. They had the Expos, which are now the Washington Nationals. I don't know when they left Montreal. I'm not certain on that. So my apologies for not knowing that, because I'm older than the Nats. The Nats have been there like since 2005. So I'm not exactly sure if that's when they changed it or what. Because no teams... Well, several teams like the Nats, and I think, when were the Rays? 98. So yeah, the Nats are the only one to, like, form in my lifetime. But okay, So Montreal is a 3.42, and recently an exposition game, we had the Brewers and the Blue Jays play there, and it was a sellout crowd. So obviously they still want baseball there. So we have Portland, Oregon with a 3.08, and then we have Nashville at 3.02, Charlotte, my hometown. I've said hometown like 3 times, but this general area, the Carolinas, Charlotte's more of a home than Atlanta. So Charlotte, we have a 279. Football, basketball, and auto racing are local passions. Is there enough room for baseball? We'll get to my thoughts on that. We have Las Vegas at 2.35, San Antonio at 2.26, Vancouver at 2.15, Raleigh-Durham at 2.13, Mexico City at 1.96, Austin at 1.87, Monterey at 1.84, and San Juan at 1.77, New Orleans at 1.59, Indianapolis at 1.47, New Jersey at 1.39, Havana at 1.34, Sacramento 1.15, Columbus at 0.98, Orlando at 0.85, and San Bernardino at 0.77. So with this, I don't even think I'm going to put Portland as number 2 personally. Teams or cities that I can see really getting teams are, I think, Nashville and Indianapolis. I'm going to say, and I mean, Charlotte's a possibility, but they have talked about in Charlotte how they don't really want a baseball team. We have the AAA Charlotte Knights here, but I don't think that, like, the city says they don't want one, but I do think it would go relatively well, but I think the majority of people would stay Brave fans, and I know there's Nat fans in North Carolina, apparently. I've never met one, but apparently they're there, so I'm gonna assume they're there. So I don't really know how Charlotte would do. Raleigh-Durham I don't see at all, and we had the Durham Bulls there anyway, but yeah. And then we had a lot of international talks. We had Montreal and Vancouver. I do think that would be really cool to bring a team to one of those places, as we do have the Blue Jays in Canada. And then Mexico City, I think it would be really cool. We have Mexico City and Monterrey as potential Mexican cities, and I do think that would be really awesome to extend to Mexico, because obviously they have a lot of fans there. We had the Mexico Series every year, or we have had them for the past 2 years. So I do think that is a good market, and that they could do well in Mexico City or Monterey. And then San Juan,